Josh and Jessica Jones. Make sure this on. Will you guys come up to the platform? Will you guys give it up for Josh and Jessica Jones? Come on up, guys. I'll have you kind of be here with me. Josh and Jessica have, I just gotten to know you a little bit over the last few months, but I feel like I've known you longer, and that's kind of this cool thing that the Lord, I think, is weaving together. But I wanted to invite these guys up and share a little bit of their story, what God has kind of been doing in them with our church family as well. And I'll say something at the end, but welcome. Will you share just a little bit of what God has been doing in this last season, and you guys, and then through this 21 days of fasting and praying? What's he been highlighting? What's he been doing in you?
I'm Jessica. This is Josh. I can't believe I'm talking on a mic again. Okay, Lord, if we must. We have 3 beautiful daughters that are in classes right now. And thinking through this, Chase asked this a couple days ago, and I know that the Lord does extraordinary things in our lives, but to us it feels like our life is pretty normal, it's pretty ordinary. So it'll be interesting to see what the Lord wants to use out of our story, because I feel like we're just kind of normal people, but we are in a very unique season right now. The kind where people go, are you sure? Like, what's your plan here? So it makes me feel like maybe we're doing something right. Yeah. When people respond like that. So I'm going to let Josh share a little bit, because it's, we're partners in crime. We've been married almost 10 years, by the way.
So awesome. Celebrate.
So, but most of this kind of falls on him and his story, so. There you
go. Thanks. And we still like each other, so that's cool. Like,
that's a huge deal.
Seriously, some people don't. So, for us, this kind of the fasting piece and what the Lord's been taking us through is started almost a year ago, actually, because we decided I was working at a job that I've been doing for almost 6 or 7 years at that point, and it was draining everything out of me, and it was like kind of hit and miss. Sometimes it'd be good, sometimes it'd be bad, sometimes just how work is, the hard parts, the good parts, but it was slowly draining everything out of me. And we kept, I'd come home and I'd be like, can I quit? I can't keep doing this. But we kept going back to the Lord and going, Lord, okay, I'm not going to leave until you tell me, because I need to know that I have peace to leave what I'm doing before I do it. And every time he was like, wait. I'm like, hate that answer. And because it would happen periodically over the years where it was just so draining. I'd come back to him and be like, I got to be done. We got to have a plan to get out of this. And he'd be like, no, stop, wait. And so what we did is we came to this point, and I decided to do the Daniel fast is kind of our go-to fast. Like it's kind of like an easier one that you can get through, and you still get to eat. So we did that, and the Lord just brought extreme clarity to where we were at in the season we were in, and the business I was working for was also a family business. So it has a little bit deeper ties, different kind of responsibilities, but it's just never ending. You're there 60, 70 hours a week just going. And so we did that I did that fast alone at that point. And
when was that?
That was in May or June, something like that, of last year. And so we did that, and the Lord started peeling back layers of issues that I had in me, that really it was this drive that I have in me. Whenever I think about where my future is or where I want to go, I'm like, I want to be further than everyone else. That's just how I think. I can't help it. But the Lord was going, that I didn't put that there necessarily. Or it's been developed to the point where it's not a godly belief anymore.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
It's also, no. He's such a hard worker, but also he's like, I see that, I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to make it happen. And instead of sort of okay, Lord, you can do this, I'm going to, you know.
Yeah.
So he's very much, we're totally opposites in this way. I'm like, I will wait on the Lord all day, and then, you know, I'm good with like resting. And when it comes to the action part, that's when I have a little more trouble. I'm like, let's just wait on it a little longer. But he's always felt this like very strong drive, like I need to get this done, get this done, get this done. So that makes this next part even more awesome and hard.
Yeah, and so we finally got this direction from the Lord. He said, okay, he gave us direction that we kind of got a timeline of when I could be done with my job. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I need to be done with this. and he gave us that. And so I kind of started planning. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to be done at this point. And he gave us, I think it was about 5 months ahead of time. It was like, it took a long transition to get me out of the responsibilities and positions I was in. And so we started that, and I started planning. I'm like, okay, I can start this business, I can go buy this property, I can go do these things, but what I realized is like, Lord, I really want to be submitted to you in this season, because I know what it's like to keep trying to drive myself forward and burn myself out in the process. And so every time I had this idea, I'd be like, all right, Lord, what do you think of that? And he'd be like, no, stop. I'm like, okay, let's. And so another one, I'm like, Lord, what do you think of this? And he just says, stop planning and wait. I'm like, that's the worst thing you could tell me. I need to be driving forward. I need to have my plan. That's how I work. I work 7 years ahead of where I'm at. Like, if I don't have that goal and that plan, I'm dying inside. And the Lord started showing me, like, wait on me. Like, everything came back to wait on me. And I'm like, no, that's not what you're saying. and you know, every plan I would start to make, wait. And it was right around the time our most recent daughter was born too. I was like giving my notice as we're having a baby. I'm like, this is really bad timing.
My one thing, I said, you cannot quit until this baby is born, because I cannot handle that.
Yeah. And so, and in that process, I gave my notice, and I grew up in church. Jess did Anthem Master's Commission here at Living Water, and we moved down to California, came back, and we never really just connected anywhere. We were kind of floating from church to church, trying to find the right spot where you really feel that connection, that like kind of DNA with a church, and we just never found it. Like, we tried to make it work, we'd stick at it, we'd get to know people, and we never felt like the Lord really said, this is it. And that was discouraging for us for years. I mean, 6 years probably of that. And we're not the type of people that just want to kind of bail out or not be known. Like, we want community. We want to know people. And we just never got it. And then we came here. And I love you, but at first I was like, nah, I'm not going to go there. I was like, he's a youth pastor. He's going to be all hyped up. And I'm like, I didn't want to. And so, but we did. We had friends.
Cool, dude.
I'm just being honest. That way you guys know I don't lie. And we came here and we sat down, and it was right at the beginning of when you were talking about this like what you wanted this church to be. And it was like, I almost was in tears just sitting here. I'm like, this is what I was looking for. And Jess and I didn't even need to look at each other to realize, like, this is it. And we got in the car and looked at each other. Yeah, this is it. This is where we're supposed to be. And to find that again was so, so powerful.
And this is getting long, sorry.
You're good.
We're like, we don't know what we're going to say. We're going to talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to bring it back, the goodness of God and the faithfulness of God to land us in a community before we kind of step into the unknown, which is happening now. He quit in December, right? So, thank you, yes. He quit, woo! So we are in a season of totally trusting the Lord to give us direction, and seeing him just like step back and like try to push forward and go, no, I'm going to wait. And then kind of like try, no, I'm going to wait. It's been completely inspiring and exciting to me because, like I said, I'm good with waiting. So I'm like, I love to see him trying to find this time of rest and wrestle, and I'm really, really proud of you. I'm not going to cry again.
And that's what the Lord has constantly been bringing us back to, is waiting and pausing. And for me, it's caused a ton of anxiety, a ton of stress. I'm like, I freaking hate waiting. Like it's one of the worst things he could have asked me to do. And I am not about the process. I'm about getting to where we're going. Like when we're driving places, I'm like, screw this. Sorry.
You're good.
I'm like, we need to get where we're going, right? Like we need to be there already. It's such a waste of time driving to get somewhere. And that's just how my mind works. And I remember we were on our way to Montana, so it's like the longest drive. And the Lord goes, what if I asked you to slow down? Like to go the speed limit. Like, I'm like, not go under, just go the speed limit. I was like, that could literally be one of the worst things you've asked me to do. And so I ignored it. And we got to Montana, and we're on our way back, and I'm going like 90 through Idaho. And the Lord goes, but what if I did? What if I did ask you to slow down? I'm like, okay. Okay. And so I'm going 60, and my heart rate's just through the roof. I'm like, this is the worst. And just like, it's been really relaxing this whole drive. Like nothing. I'm like, I need you to drive. I can't do this anymore. But that's kind of this process that the Lord's had me on, of this like constantly holding back and waiting. Like waiting is this active relationship with God.
It's good.
Of just, you know what? I need to do this, but no, Lord, I'm going to wait until you tell me to do it. That I'm going to stay back here. And when we don't know what we're going to do. And that's, it's super millennial of us to do that, but it also, like, I think that the Lord's in it to go, yeah, this is the season that I'm calling you to rest, and resting with him. Yeah. It's not this ulterior motive that he has, like, don't rest, but don't rest, It's, yeah.
To tie it into this last fast, it's kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it, because you would think with the timing of the fast right after he was done with his work, like, oh, God's going to give us some direction for what he's going to do in his future. Nothing, but we had some of the sweetest conversations in our marriage. Yeah. And so you never know what you're going to get from the Lord, but he will always give you something just to tie that fast in. Yeah. It was pretty awesome, a gift that he gave to us.
Yeah. And I'll wrap it up with that. We decided to do the fast here, and I'm thinking this is going to be clarity from God finally. Like he's going to tell me what I'm going to do. He's going to give me a business idea, and I'm like, and I decided to do like a hard fast. I'm like, I'm going to really go for it this time, like I'm like, just liquids. That's all I'm doing. And I get into it. I'm like, this is terrible, but it's going to be worth it. And I'm like, I'm going to lose my family by the end of this. Like, not really, but I was just kind of, getting angry with everyone at a certain point. And Chase was like, dude, change it then. Like, you're not stuck doing what you're doing. Like, you can adapt with a fast. You're just looking for a deeper connection with God. It doesn't, like, get you further by, only drinking water. But I understand why Jesus was in the desert alone. Because, right? But I said I was going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up. Like, honestly, I thought that I was going to get clarity for what was next for me, but what I got was really clarity for our family. Like, she had to do a lot on her own because of how much I was working, or how distant I was during that process. And the Lord really, where I'm like, oh, he's going to give me this. He like completely blindsided me and was like, hey, here's your wife. Like, spend time with her, know her, hear her. And I love that. Like, I'm all about this girl. Like, she's amazing to me. So, like, to spend this time of the Lord going, hey, wait and rest and just spend time with her. Like, be with her, enjoy her. And it's been pretty great. I mean, getting to be home more, and we're only a month into this. We have no idea what this is going to turn out. I mean, we could be homeless in a little while. I don't know, but we'll be okay.
Yeah, you
we'll
will.
have each other.
It's going to be okay.
Amen. Can you help me celebrate? Yeah.